Blandin. Just tell us a little bit about your story and what happened to you.
Well, a friend of mine called Michael came round to my house one evening while I was with a friend of mine, and he told me his testimony of how he came to, of how God picked him up pretty much and just went, what about this? It's an incredible story, and but at the time I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, okay, that's nuts. But like, I was left with a couple of different options. Like, it sort of dawned on me that like, I've either got a friend that's lying to me here, or he's telling me the truth, or he's nuts. And I knew that he wasn't a liar, and I knew that he wasn't nuts, so it could have led only to the truth, you know. So I was like, okay. And I think a few months went by after that, and like I say, not really thought much of it. And he invited me along to an Alpha course, so I was like, sort of respectfully went, kind of thing. And like, I was asking a couple of people, like, oh, someone's asking me to go to this, like, what do you think? And it was only that my manager said to me, he goes, well, you know, you say yourself that he's a happy guy, like maybe he's just trying to give you that happiness, like he's just trying to let you know about it.
This is your manager said?
Yeah, he's a Catholic man. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe. Like, I hadn't really thought about it like that, so I thought, yeah, I'll go along, like, respectfully, kind of thing. And so I went along, and it was getting towards the end, if not right at the end, and they had like a day where Phil came around and prayed for us all. And as Phil walked in front of me, I had my eyes closed and my hands out in front of me, like, and I was just sort of trying not to be rude, kind of thing. And as Phil walked in front of me, this blinding white light just came across my field of vision. And I was like, what? Like, I started shaking and trembling, and I've learned a lot along since then. So like, I think like, I know I was stood in the presence of the Lord, but unclean at the time as well, yeah? So I felt like I shouldn't be standing there. I was like, I was trembling, I was terrified. And he started praying for me, and I was like, okay. And he stopped, and he said, Bradley, God's got something he wants me to tell you. So I go, okay, like reluctantly sort of go, okay. And like thinking, well, this might actually be legit. Like, and I was like, what's going on? And he said to me, he knows that, well, I was up to some real dishonest stuff at the time, and so I've got to say that before I say this. Like, he goes to me, he goes, Bradley, God knows that you've got an honest heart, and that he sees you as a true son of Israel, and people will flock to you for wisdom. I was like, what? And it was only really that last bit that got me really worried, kind of thing, because I've been told, like, it made me think instantly of countless occasions where I've been told that I'll make a good this and make a good that, and it's generally some sort of teaching or something like that, like, do you know what I mean? And then yeah, I came to church the next day and gave my life to Jesus, man. And but like, you know, what I didn't realise at the time was all the stuff that he could take from me, you know? Like, I suffered bad from depression, like bad, and I actually got to the point probably maybe a week or so before I met the Holy Spirit, like, where I made the decision I was going to take my own life. Like, I just didn't think about how to do it yet. I was sort of making my mind up, and all of it gone. Like, it was amazing, yeah. And now I have the knowledge as well. I'm never going to feel like that again.
So God just set you free?
Just set me free from it straight away. Like, and that was, like I said, before I was a Christian as well. Like, I was sort of on my bed one night going, there's got to be something more to what this is. Like, how can people be so happy with the job, and like, you know, they've got a job and they've got this and they've got that, do they not see how superficial it is, kind of thing? And that's what the questions that were going on in my head, you know. And I woke up the next morning, all of it gone. I've never felt like that afterwards. And like I say, before I was even a Christian, he was there, like, going on, like, listening to me, you know.
Yeah.
And it just got mental after that. It was just amazing things started happening. Like, a couple of months later, Leslie got not well, and we ended up coming down here and praying for her and all that sort of thing. She got healed in an amazing way, and all sorts of other stuff that come along with it. I went to India for a couple of weeks, just the first time I've ever really been completely on my own as well. And like, just after I'd got saved, I was like, okay, well, let's see what this like relationship with God's about, kind of thing. Like, I have no idea where to go with it, like where to even start. and someone lent me a book, so I read a bit of that, and I didn't even read it all, just read a little bit of it. I was like, okay, yes, I think I get the idea. Sat down and just tried to get as quiet as I could, you know, and it was the most incredible 2 weeks of my life. Like it really was. Like the only way I've been able to really like describe God's presence with me throughout that time was I had a motorbike, and it was like he was my passenger and I was driving kind of thing, and he was like looking at the things I was looking at, laughing at them, and he was involved with everything that I was doing. It was amazing. And
so you separated that time for the purpose of we're just trying to draw close to God?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, but I booked the holiday before I'd become a Christian as well, so I had this this idea in my head of going out there being a geezer, basically, and just doing all the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But didn't happen, and but that's cool. I got back from India, and things got even more mental. Like I didn't really know like the basics of Christianity at all, like none whatsoever, and I'd met up with my ex-girlfriend at the time because we were together when I got saved, and we split up, blah blah blah, and messing like that.
Was your ex-girlfriend a Christian?
No, she wasn't. No, she didn't have a faith, but it's God was right behind her as well the whole way, and it's like you speak to her, you see all the little bits. It's absolutely amazing. Like he was giving her dreams and stuff, and all sorts of mad things, and so I got back from this holiday and catching up with her kind of thing, because it left it sort of on bad terms and it wasn't nice. Like, so she come round and she was chatting away. I was telling her about God in India and all that sort of stuff and what was going on, and she said to me, "I believe in God, Bradley." And I went, "Okay, cool, that's cool." I was like, "Well, if you believe in God, do you want to get saved?" She was like, "Yeah, I do." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, okay, cool. I had no idea. I didn't know what the sinner's prayer was, nothing like that. I had not a clue. And so I was like, well, all I can do is pray for you, right? So I started praying for her, and she started hearing this, the only word is ungodly screaming, yeah? And she said, like, I saw the look on her face. She looked like she was in agony from hearing it, like, and I was like, wow. So I stopped praying for her. It's like not wanting to hurt her, you know? And so I grabbed my Bible and I was like, God, if this needs to open up the sinner's prayer, if there's ever a time, right, it's right now. So I opened it up, nothing. I was like, I didn't know where it was, where to look, nothing. I'm scanning through it, nothing. I couldn't find it anywhere. I was like, oh, never mind. Like, I put it back down and started praying for her again. And within a couple of seconds, there was this incredible shift in the atmosphere in the room. And amazingly, my front door swung open, and Jesus walked down my corridor into my living room, sat down between the pair of us, put his arm around her, gave her a hug, said it was all going to be okay.
You saw this in a vision, something?
Almost, right?
How did that come about?
Well, I was praying for her, right? Like sort of the gap between us, and I sat there with my eyes closed like this, and I heard my front door go. And funnily enough, I know this is probably rubbish for like a camera, right? But funnily enough, like the passage, like about sorting your house out and stuff like that, right, was running through my head for like a couple of weeks before, or a week or so before I'd met up with her. And I was panicking kind of a bit about it, like, oh, my house is rubbish, what if Jesus shows up, kind of thing, right? And I was like, okay, this is weird, and then he did, yeah. And so, yeah, like you say, I was praying for her, and my front door opened. I heard him walk along the wooden floor from my front door through my kitchen into my living room, and as I heard him sort of get towards the doorway of where my kitchen was, I opened my eyes because I was like, I was terrified, like, and I was really scared. And I opened my eyes, and just as he walked through the door, I saw him there, just stood in the doorway. And as soon as I saw him, he was gone. But he wasn't there for me. Yeah, he was there to save Shannon. So it was awesome. And like just his presence in my room was in the room was like nothing I've ever experienced. Like it was.
Was it just peace?
Beyond peace. Like, you know, when God said, when Paul says about peace that passes all beyond any understanding, it was exactly that. Like it was exactly that. And then like she slumped forward a little bit, and then sort of woke up and was like, I feel amazing. And she was like, you know, I was like, you know who that was, don't you? And she was like, that was Jesus. And I was like, yeah, awesome. And then, so she got saved, and you know.
Is she coming to church now?
Yeah, that's right.
She's in a relationship now.
Yeah, that's it.
Her life is. How is her life? Has it changed? Or?
Oh, it's changed unbelievably. Like I noticed the little bits and like the little differences that God makes in a person as well, in her, and like just the other day, like she I don't think she would have done it before. Like we were just messing around. I was giving her a piggyback up at Mount Bingham, and I hurt my back. And like, but it wasn't until we'd sort of dropped her home kind of thing. I was like, oh what? And she was like, oh my back's hurting. And she was like, I'll pray for you. She just put her hand on me, prayed for me straight away. It's just like bang, like you know that's. No one she would never have done that before. I would never have done anything like that before, you know.
Wow.
Amazing.
So what would you say to people now watching this testimony?
Get to know God. Like that's it. I mean, if you need anything, if like, and search Him with an search. If I mean, I was skeptical at first. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, but He said Himself to me, I know that you've got an honest heart. So I think if you search for the truth honestly, and can put yourself aside, like regardless of what you know, what you thought you knew, anything of it, then Jesus will be there for you. I think that's the only thing that can happen.
Yeah, because He knows the heart.
He knows the heart, yeah.
It's not so much
the facts,
yeah,
so
what
to
you're
speak.
doing, but it's
yeah.
And God is just.